From jaw-dropping moments to tear-jerking connections, these top-notch reveals prove that leadership is more than just numbers.
If you see anything that needs to be fixed, make sure we get it done.
Who doesn't like some good old home-cooked food, huh? The Boston Market offers homely comfort food at 470 locations in the U.S. And yep, the team puts tremendous effort in making sure that nobody messes around when it comes to keeping this extremely successful business kicking.
Boston Market offers home-style comfort food at 470 locations across the country.
Thanks to Sarah Bildorf, the chief brand officer who is holding down the fort like a true boss, she endures that the cash keeps flowing.
It's our new product, it's Tuscan chicken.
As a chief brand officer, my job is the Boston Market brand.
You see, Sarah is the real deal, keeping the hustle alive 24/7. But this is where we get real.
The brand is the sum of all of the interactions that you have with Boston Market.
Today, Sarah will disguise herself as a waitress named Rachel who hopes to open her own business.
Posing as an unemployed diner waitress.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Zach.
Her employees think she's on a reality show.
As for the employees, they were told that she was a contestant on a reality show where the winner could open their own restaurant. On her first day in the trenches, it is here that she met Ronnie, the supervisor of the restaurant.
My name's Rachel, and I'm here to see Ronnie.
I'm Ronnie.
Hi, Rachel. Nice to meet you.
He showed her around the restaurant and told her how she could interact with the customers.
Greet the customer as they walk in, say, hello, welcome to Boston Market, blah, 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 whatever. Because we have to make customers, on a pedestal.
What Ronnie did next was nothing but a grave mistake. As the toils of the day got into his head, Ronnie started to show his true colors. He started talking shit about the customers and expressed how annoyed he was about the customers.
This is the lobby. It does get busy, but it's generally just people taking too long to eat.
Okay.
But
oh boy, only if he knew whom he was facing that day. After he gave off all that negativity, Ronnie took her to meet the general manager of the restaurant. Damn, he messed up big this time, and there's no turning back now. The comment he made as he passed through the lobby was nothing but rude and highly unprofessional. If I was his boss, I would have revealed my identity then and there to teach this guy a lesson. I mean, what was this?
Our loaded mashed potatoes, it shouldn't be a question. You should be forcing it down their throat, because that is what corporate has told us to do.
Well, Ronnie had a tough start and he has no one else but him to blame for it. On the other hand, he got a little bit too cozy with Rachel.
We don't ask questions, we just work like robots.
Can we all agree that he's got a bad and inappropriate sense of humor? He even started talking shit about the company. Jeez, this guy has no limits. If letting his fumes and inner thoughts about the customers weren't enough, he went on to talk about how the corporate world played them like puppets. Wow, did he really have to say that? Oh man, he should have stopped it right there. His dislike for the job was so visible.
When putting pecan pie into the thing, it has to look like that at all times. Because Boston Market, again, ridiculous standards.
Ronnie's next drama was about making the sandwiches. Like, folks, how hard can that be? He said he never liked making them because customers were so picky about it. Like, duh. What are they supposed to do when you've got a crazy-ass gigantic menu that looks like a frickin' phone book?
This is a sandwich station. I hate making sandwiches. Customers always have something picky about a sandwich to do.
I guess Ronnie forgot he was supposed to serve them and not curse them. Anyway, I think you get the idea. This guy was way over his head. What's more, amidst all this chaos and talking shit, he forgot to help Rachel. Damn, dude was acting like an absolute diva. But he had no idea what would happen next.
You need to take this inside.
What?
Can you take this inside? I'm gonna go smoke.
Dude, if you don't like your job, why don't you quit? I mean, there's no point in talking shit about seniors and kids. They are the ones who especially make up for most of the clientele. I guess he forgot that they were the ones who provided the so-called revenue for his paycheck. But then, he was smacked with a wave of instant karma.
Children and old people are literally the worst I've ever seen in my entire life. Because none of them know what they want and they're literally can't talk.
Now, we all know that he's gonna pay for it, but I kind of feel sorry for him at this point. He couldn't have screwed this up anymore. Meanwhile, Sarah was losing her patience. Well, someone had to teach him how to respect customers, and turns out he had to learn it the hard way.
They're customers, they're not anything special.
Trust me, Sarah was in a deep state of distress. I mean, she was the damn representative of the brand, and what she witnessed wasn't pretty at all. She was dismayed and felt ridiculous, and she planned to shut it down before it got out of hand. Poor Ronnie had to feel the wrath of the chief brand officer, Sarah.
Copy.
I did get you. I got you saying a bunch of things about our customers.
I did.
Yikes, looks like someone got busted. Well, this dude was literally a walking red flag. And when it was time for the big reveal, we could almost hear Ronnie's heartbeat. And yep, it's now time for the confrontation we've all been waiting for.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you home for the day.
Wow, just look at that stricture though. This dude needs some real help. Care to see a therapist, Ronnie?
I don't know. I didn't think it was that terrible. It's not wrong of me to hate people.
Gosh, the audacity. I can't believe he had the nerve to say that. But Sarah wasn't done. She talked to the GM and terminated Ronnie from the job.
We're gonna need to terminate his employment.
Wow. Boy, I'm sure he never saw that coming. Maybe that would teach him a good lesson. But what happened in this next episode was even crazier.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
So if you guys are into cars, then trust me, you're in for a treat. Because next up, we've got the most renowned franchise in the International Speedway. I'm talking about NASCAR. Well, Steve Phelps, the chief marketing officer of NASCAR, is a pretty busy man. I mean, handling the marketing bit of the entire business is no joke.
The chief marketing officer of NASCAR poses as Kevin, a lucky competition-winning race fan with an all-access pass.
But this time, the man was all set to don a new role. It was time to look behind the curtains and get a real-time experiment of what goes down in the business. At the time of the sting, they were 1 week away from the race, and Daytona was prepping for the most exhilarating time of the year.
It's off to the racetrack to find out what's really going on.
So you've probably seen a lot of changes in 15 years.
Yeah, some of them good, some of them bad.
Everything had to be on point, and there was absolutely no room for any mishaps. And this is where Steve decides to enter the scene. Well, of course he was going to be undercover, and they hatched a plan to send Steve over as an avid NASCAR fan, Kevin, who just won a contest to work alongside the team behind the speed. Kevin was assigned to work in the facility operations, and this is where he would get his first-hand experience of the grind behind the grand race day. And first up, he was introduced to Glenn Jeff.
This is Kevin Thomas.
Hi.
Care to work with you today?
So Kevin was placed under Glenn for the day. The poor guy had no idea that his boss was sizing up every small detail behind the veil of his disguise.
We'll show you Daytona like you've never seen it before.
I'm in your hands.
Next up, Kevin was taken to the tracks, which is the stage that needs to be set for the race day. Once out there, Glenn taught him how to paint the finish line, and they had to do all this under the scorching heat of the sun. Damn, now that's quite a feat, huh? I mean, trust me, you guys, the dedication for his work is commendable. And the finish line, which signifies the beginning and the end of the race, has to be perfect, no kidding. You see, Glenn had this big role on the tracks, and well, he was pretty good at it. But someone was struggling to catch up.
Oh, no.
At this point, I think Kevin was probably questioning his decision for having taken up the task.
What are you doing?
Put too much paint on it, it starts to drip, because of the gravity.
No.
However, that wasn't the end of it. Kevin was then taken to the high banks, and trust me, this is where the real struggle began. Poor Kevin! A leg day would have surely helped him. I mean, just look at him, y'all. Dude was trying to walk up the banks, but it almost looked like he'd fall flat on his face anytime. But leave it to Glenn to save the day. The man walked in like an angel and wrapped every last bit of it. Well, this guy was turning out to be quite the star.
After a wreck, because you could just smell the accident.
Damn, Glenn, you're some kind of Picasso, no doubt. But behind every strong man is a story that'll leave you crushed. Well, of course, Glenn was amazing as an instructor, but you know what? He was an incredible dad. He shared a story about his son Daniel, who was sadly fighting leukemia. And yep, the boy was a fighter just like his dad.
Daniel and Christopher. Daniel was diagnosed with leukemia. Yeah, he was 11.
Glenn was later called to the headquarters to evaluate Kevin's work, but little did he know what was about to happen.
My name is actually Steve Phelps.
Wonderful.
Glenn's reaction was both pure and funny. Dude was so stunned that he just sat there in awe of everything that was unfolding before his eyes. Later, when Kevin revealed his true identity, Glenn had just one thing to say. He exclaimed saying, "Wonderful." Despite all the trouble he was going through, Glenn's positive attitude was like a beacon of light piercing through the dark skies, and Steve wasn't going to let it go unnoticed. He gifted Daniel, Glenn's son, a helmet signed by all the racers from the previous race. But that's nothing compared to what he did next. The boss was so pleased with his employee that he actually vowed to take care of his son's financial needs, and I think Glenn couldn't have asked for a better gift. Dude was so overwhelmed with emotion that he couldn't help himself but tear up right there.
Anything that the Speedway hasn't covered from a financial standpoint, any out-of-pocket expenses that you have, NASCAR wants to pay for those until Daniel's better.
Now wasn't that one big wholesome moment? Well, these were some of the best reveals I could think of. But which one of them surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Until next time, peace out everyone.